Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and I would just ask humbly that if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would. And if, excuse me, and if you've been a subscriber for some time, and if you keep coming back and giving me a thumbs up and commenting and engaging in other ways, then of course, smooches to you. This is going to be a relatively short video, I'm sure, I hope, and slightly different. You know that when, well, if you have watched any programming or special guests or art or authors talking about a book that they're flogging or a service that they are trying to sell, they often talk about shop your closet. So in the tough times that we're currently undergoing, most of us are undergoing, we're all touched in some way by food prices, the price of fuel and shelter and so on. It's even more important, excuse me, to use what we have. And I have a playlist on my channel called Use It, Don't Store It, because that's what I found I was doing. And I know I'm not alone in that. So in a recent video, I referenced the fact that the other day, when I should have maybe been doing something more productive, I got sidetracked and began emptying a bookcase that's in the closet. I have a wall-to-wall closet that has 4 sliding doors on it that cover the width of the room. And that's great because it has a lot of storage space, but it also means that it's not particularly in your face or accessible, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I have a bookcase in there, and it was filled with books about writing. And I finally come to the conclusion that that ship has sailed. I do my weekly column and whatever else, writing as I need to, but I'm not going to dedicate my life to writing. So why is it taking up prime real estate? So as I made trip after trip after trip up and down the stairs, taking books downstairs, coming back empty, I noticed that some of them had possibilities for my current interest, which of course is journal making and paper crafting. So in a new variation on shop your closet, in other words, stats show that people wear 20% of what is hanging in their closet, and the other 80% is just, it's just there. It's waiting for, weight loss or is there anybody out there looking to gain weight? Anyway, typically weight loss, a special event, too late to return it, getting sucked into buying something because it was on sale when you really didn't love it in the first place. I mean, we're all guilty of that. So this is the book variation of that. So I'm saying shop your bookcase. So I have 4 titles to show you. This one is called A Life in Hand, Creating the Illuminated Journal. Now, it looks fairly old, 1991. And I bought it secondhand, I'm sure. And you can, if you know anything about me, you can picture why. Watercolor type illustrations, pen and ink illustrations. Basically the best of both worlds. A combination of the theme of writing and the theme of art. Both things that I am interested in. So I didn't flip through this in detail when I set this aside the other day. I didn't realize there were all these colored things here at the back. The paper is beautiful. There are many images that could be fussy cut or fussy torn. Cute little bird. So why has this book been sitting on my shelf for how many years? You know, the gesture drawing of cats, study type illustrations. So because I wanted to get the space freed up for rearranging craft supplies and journal making supplies, all I was doing was making those umpteen trips down the stairs with books. I emptied the bookcase down there that they're going to go into, but I have not yet replaced, the books on the shelves. So typically what I started to do years ago with my personal library is, Carol, I don't know how many times you tell me how bats are, how good they are. It's just, I don't think wings and fur are a good combination. Wings and feathers, yes. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes, my personal library. I've always, these writing books all were together, clearly. More like a reference library. All the other books were arranged alphabetical by author, which, if you know your authors, is a great way to find something. If you don't know, if it's a lesser known author, how nice that is. If you don't know your authors, then, it's a little harder sometimes to find something. Or maybe you forgot you have it. Anyway, so as I do that, I will continue to take, a good hard look at the books that I've taken downstairs and figure out what I need to bring up here and begin using. Now, you may know that I do that we have a timeshare in Canmore, Alberta, which is at the foothills of the Rockies, near Calgary. And they have a kind of a quaint little bookstore there, and I always would go there and spend a lot of time looking, and and they have a used section, but I have to say that none of the prices are, they're not thrift store prices. They're not even good used book prices. But it's a wonderful atmosphere for recharging your battery, for priming the well, as Zig Ziglar used to say. So this book, if you could feel it, almost feels like suede. It's got this tooling on here. It's got the old quill nib. It says The Writer's Devotional, 365 inspirational exercise ideas, tips, and motivations on writing. Now you can see, I didn't even take this off. And I bet you I did pay $22 for it. And let's see what the year is. 2012. Well, I don't know if I've had it that long, but, and does it not look mint? This ribbon bookmark is on week 3. That's probably as far as I got. Now, if I don't use this, if I don't put this on my bedside table and at least read it, if not do the homework, this will show up in the estate sale when I kick the bucket, and people say, look at that book, it's so mint, it doesn't look like anyone's ever opened it. Do we want that to happen? I don't think so. So that one's going to my night table. Over the years, I have bought or received as gifts many books, how-to books, or or books that authors have written about their process. You know, like one of the famous ones is Stephen King's book called On Writing. I think I first had it in paperback, then I found it a used one in hardback. I bought that. I gave the paperback to my daughter, blah, blah, blah. I have a, you know, what the heck is her name? Maeve Binchy. Janet, see, us Ukrainian kids would say Ivanovich, but they say Iwanowicz, you know, the sort of the mystery writer type thing. I'm attracted to things like this, clearly, because it's so classy. But I'm also attracted to things like this, because these are bite-sized chunks. Now, I don't remember the premise of this. I don't remember if I bought it or if I received it as a gift. I think I bought it. But you can see that it is a way to promote quick and easy journaling. Now, like so many of the things we see in bookstores with the first few pages ripped out, October 30th, 2017. Then I skipped to November 8th. Then I skipped to November 9th. Must have been on a roll. November 10th. And that was it. 2017, for heaven's sakes. So this book, and again, if I pay... Oh, Cafe Books. This is another Canmore purchase. I probably paid $25 for this. And with a lot of good intentions. So I'm thinking that this definitely, I still don't think I'm going to use it, because this is just a little, you know, not my shtick. But I could certainly use it, because I did check. These are sewn in. So I could definitely deconstruct this book, use them as signature pages. 8 1/4 by, a little wide, but folded in, by almost 7. Or, since there's, look, that's even perfect. Fold that back. This little margin bit here, like on the scale of how epic was your day. So that clearly is going to need to be dealt with. And then the last one I'll stop with today is another one that, of course, would have just jumped off the bookcase and into my hands. And look at Sark did the creative license is a leaping burst of enthusiasm, the best kind of permission, and thoroughly inspiring. I give it my highest recommendation. And I think by the time you see this video, this one, you will know that I have done a video on Sark. So, again, do you see the similarities between that first book I showed you? Look at this. Look. The hand lettering, the drawings. Well, okay, maybe not that one. Remember, writing is drawing. Now, maybe this is the kind of book that should go into my, except books are so heavy. I was going to say that should go into my suitcase when I go. Oh, I know. I'm going with Roy to a couple conventions. I could put it in my suitcase and read a few pages every day. And then decide what to do with it. I should tell you that as I was looking through those books, I am positive that some books I bought simply because the titles were so darn clever. One of them, and the cover art is a guy with his feet, ankles crossed, perched up on the edge of his desk. And the title of the book is Too Lazy to Work, Too Scared to Steal. Oh my goodness. I love that so much. I have another one called Will Work for Food. And of course, these are talking about freelance writing and so on. Another one, Will Work for Shoes. So again, there are some really clever titles. I should probably make a list of the best ones and just sprinkle them into my banter here some days so that you can get a laugh with me. Anyway, if I decide, and this is just glued, if I decide to deconstruct this one, and it seems like that's what's destined to happen here, cut out or tear out the word splurge. Why journals? Illustrated journaling has a lot to offer as a beginner and a lifelong creative endeavor. A journal is compact, portable, inexpensive, personal, useful, cumulative, familiar, left brain, right brain, a gateway, an art form, a meditation, forgiving, private, or public. And I guess that is, maybe this can actually, for the immediate future, become just a reference and a jumping off point, an inspiration for my video series on art journaling. So far it's been more, collage and some mixed media, but anyway. So I just, that's got a naked man there. I just wanted to say that we shouldn't be afraid to poke into dark corners. It's like anything else. I'll give you an analogy. When I was the festival coordinator for 10 years for Babas and Borscht Ukrainian Festival, we would put up a 4x8. We would put up 4x8 signs, on a sheet of plywood, announcing that, the weekend in question had come up. So because they were on a primary highway, you had to get permission from Alberta Transportation because, of course, they don't want to turn the roadways into, billboard heaven and create all those opportunities for distracted driving. So I remember talking to the regional rep, and what he said made sense. He reminded me of something that I was already aware of, but, said it in different ways, and you want to slap yourself in the forehead and say, yeah, I knew that. He said, or I gave him some examples of signs that are up year-round. His premise was that these signs should only be up for maybe a day or two prior to the event and come down promptly after the event. So I gave him a couple of examples on the Yellowhead Highway of signs that are up year-round, and he says, yes, he knows. He says, but do you notice them? And of course, the answer is no. When something is familiar, like if you see it once, the first time you see something, you think, oh, hey. The second time, oh, that's still there. Maybe you'll notice it a third time. But after it's, 30 or 40 or umpteen times, you no longer see it. You'd only see it if it was you'd only be aware of it if it was gone, or if the color changed, or if it was, hit by a careless driver or whatever. So the point I'm trying to make is we all have bookcases, cupboards, drawers, closets, hiding places that we have set up and maintained for years. And unless we actually have the courage and the daring to disturb them, to shed the light of day on them, to take things off their shelves, handle them, look at them, top to bottom, back to front, inside out. Do we remember that we have them? Do we remember that, or do we realize that, hey, we're not the same people we were when we first acquired that item, or when we first put that thing away? And that's what I'm finding over and over and over again. I'm finding fabric that I forgot I had, even though it's nicely folded, the Marie Kondo way. But unless you actually take the time to look at these things, to handle them, to survey what you have, it's pretty easy to forget and to think that you need to buy more. Well, you don't need to buy more, because you and I already have everything we need. Now, this has been a wonderful, inspirational talk, hopefully, and hopefully you're sitting there smiling, or raising a fist in agreement, or saying, "Way to go, sister." I just wish that feeling, that insight, that whatever, would hit me when I'm in a thrift store. Sometimes the kid talks a better game than she walks. Let's just say that. So anyway, this kind of went astray here a bit, but the underlying message is, look and see what you already have. Figure out if it can now become an art supply, a journal making supply, a paper crafting supply, and save some money in the process. Okay, guys, thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.